Deuteronomy 28:37. Thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations. Wherever the Lord shall lead thee.
Right, so what that goes into is that we will be called everything other than who we are. And this is who we are. We're the Israelites. The tribe of Judah, the tribe of Benjamin, the tribe of Levi, etc. We're the real Jews that the Bible speaks about. Okay, we're not just niggas as these guys want to think. Okay? Alright? That's just the whole ordeal. We're the people of God, man. I know it doesn't look like it right now. But guess what? No matter how it looks or what you see, that's the facts. There's no distorting the facts of the truth. Okay? That's just the thing. You may see a Jake out there walking around like a damn fucking some trainer, man. But guess what? If this lion is of the nation of Israel, he's the son of God. Okay? It is what it is, man. It is what it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the what you saying.
Back in 1917, there was an Ethiopian famine, wasn't there?
Yeah,
right.
And never got down off and feed the world and all this. And there was a black people came down from the mountain in Ethiopia carrying the flag of the Star of David.
Right.
Remember what they were?
Right. Well, I mean,
they were supposed to be a tribe of Israel who went down to Ethiopia at the time of King Solomon, and they've been there all that time. And that famine was so severe, these black people came down, and the people in Israel had a look at them and had to decide whether they were descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob or not.
Yeah, I remember
and
that,
they took them back to Israel, and the descendants of our people are still in Israel now.
Okay, I didn't know that. I do remember that, but I gotta look into that.
Isaiah 11:11, isn't it?
Yeah, we're gonna be scattered because what he further proves is that you're gonna have Israelites in Ethiopia. Okay, scattered abroad. So that was also part of the curse as well. That we would be scattered abroad as a nation. We wouldn't even be online. Okay? Yeah. So but what we're gonna do is, man, I tell you what, read that. Because he made mention of that. That was a good point.
Yeah, and so I said one thing. Because I saw a documentary, it's called Hebrews to Negroes. This guy's made it into a DVD, but I saw the trailer of it, it's about 10 minutes, and they talked about the dynasty of Israelites who are in Ethiopia. And some of them know that they're Israelites, man. Yeah. They keep the customs. I'm not talking about the Phoenician Jews. I'm talking about other ones.
Yeah.
Now that matches the scripture. Isaiah.
That's funny you said that, but I was thinking about that. As soon as I thought that, you said it. Oh, that's what you call telepathic.
Telepathic.
Or something like that. Yeah.
Let's just say it's a spirit.
Yeah, it's a spirit,
So, love, man. Isaiah 11:10. And in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, who shall stand for the empire of the people.
Yep.
To it the Gentiles seek.
Right, to the Gentiles seek. So what you have is you have the Gentiles now, and see, this is how you break the scriptures down. Because you got a guy that will read this and he'll think, oh, it's referring to all nations. No, you got to decipher it. Okay, go on.
To it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious.
Right, and it says that this guy will come out of the root of Jesse, right? Which the root of Jesse is the line of King David. Now, basically, that would be Yahushua, who the world called Jesus Christ, and the Gentiles would seek unto him. So who are the Gentiles that would seek unto him? The Israelite foreigners. Okay, those that were scattered abroad outside of their land. And you know what? We're even Gentiles too, although we've come back to know that we're Israelites. But even just based on where we're at right now, we're Gentiles. All brothers that woke up in the truth are what you consider the Israelite foreigners.
Yeah.
The Gentile Israelite foreigners. Okay, go on.
So it come to pass in that day, the Lord shall recover, the Lord shall set his hand again a second time.
Right, the second time, go on.
To recover a remnant of his people.
Right, to recover the remnant of his people. And he's doing that in the spirit. Because when you check it out, we're all being gathered back in order by the word. Okay, the word of Yahushua. We're not being gathered by because we saw some on TV. No, we're being gathered by the word of the Lord, man. The word of the Lord is bringing us back together again. okay, and bringing us back to Yahweh Shai. So that's what's being done right now in the spirit. But physically, that'll be done as well. We'll literally be saved out of here, okay, by the nuclear destruction, which is right around the corner. Okay, go on.
To recover a remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria,
Yep.
and from Egypt, and Paphros,
Right.
and from Cush.
And from Cush, like he said. He said there was a group of Ethiopians that had the Star of David,
Yep.
and they went back to Solomon. All right. So, hey, that further solidifies the point that we're the Israelites, man. You're gonna have Israelites that are scattered abroad as well. Okay, and there's so many films about even West Africa too. Okay, and there was a film, there was an old film that came out. I believe it was the early 70s or something like that. But the intro of the film, I remember what the guy said in the intro of the film. He said, "Look, we're in the land of the wandering Jews of Africa."
Oh yeah, Shaka Zulu.
Right. Oh, that's what it was called.
Yeah.
Right. So, and that further solidifies that the Hollywood movie makers, number one, they know the precepts, they know the scriptures, and they also know who the real Jews are. Even the higher up bankers know, the Rothschilds. They know what the real Jews. They know that these so-called blacks walking around here, calling themselves black. The bankers already know the nations of the earth. They know. They know that they're the Edomites, okay, and they also know that we're the Jews, and they know that those people in India are the Elamites. They have all of this information.
That's right.
Okay? But what it is they don't want us to bring out the information for the world to see. All right? They want to keep that info to themselves. And they also know that the West Africans are Jews as well. They know this.
That's right.
How they wouldn't have made that film, we found the wandering Jews of Africa, Shaka Zulu. Okay, so those same people that was taking on the slaves, that was taking us slaves to the Western Hemisphere, those got to be the Jews as well. Okay, and that further solidifies prophecy. What is it, Deuteronomy chapter 28? Give me that, brother. Since I'm talking about that subject matter. Because Moses prophesied to us 3,000 years ago that if we didn't keep the laws, we're going to be taking on slave ships, man. All right? So it's just proof. The proof is already there. And the information is overwhelming nowadays. All right? So he wouldn't be that.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15.
Yeah.
But it shall come to
Now,
pass.
just get to the point.
Alright, 68, Deuteronomy 28, verse 68.
Yeah.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Right, so we would go back into bondage again with ships. Because basically, when you look up the word Egypt really goes back to the Greeks. All right, but the people that ruled in ancient Egypt were the people of Montezorium, which were another dark-skinned group of people. So you had a dark-skinned group of people ruling over another dark-skinned group of people. All right, now those people in Sudan today, those tall, dark Sudanese people, those are the real Egyptians. Those are the people that had us enslaved as the Israelites. All right, 3,500 years ago. So we would go into slavery again. What?
In ships.
Okay.
By the way, I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
And that's what happened. When you studied the transatlantic slave trade, we were taken from West Africa, right, the bulk of us, to the other side of the world on slave ships. Read that verse again. It says,
by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
Right, so we would be ran out of Jerusalem, which that's where the majority of the West African people came from the land of Jerusalem. They ran out of Jerusalem. Why? Because they were persecuted by the Romans. So while they were there for a certain period of time, guess what? They were there, they kept their customs, okay, and then the Spaniards came in, not the Spaniards, but the English, the British, they came through and enslaved those people. Fulfillment of prophecy right there.
That's right.
All right, so you got our people walking around, I'm Nigerian, or I'm West Indian, okay, I'm so-called African American, or I'm Jamaican, not understanding the facts that you fit the prophecy of being the Israelites.
Right.
Okay? Because see, the thing about it is you got our people, they're in this truth, and they want to come out of the truth, and they say, well, I don't want to be Israelite though. You can't pick and choose. This is not something that you put on. This is your nationality. This is the nationality of the so-called Negro today. He is the real Jew. Now those people over there in the land of Israel, they're not the real Jews. They're what you call Edomites.
Right.
All right, they're the Edomites. So the same people that are called niggas and spooks and wetbacks and spooks and what have you, those are the people of God. All right? That's just the whole ordeal. And this is why World War III is happening in the first place. Why? Because of the wrongdoings unto the children of Israel and what these other nations have done.
Yeah.
That's the real reason why this is happening. And I'm going to prove it. Give me Joel, the third chapter. Okay, and that's why what you had was you had the US, you had the UK and the French, they hit Syria. Now what's going to happen in the near future, Russia's going to respond to that, and guess what? You're going to have that full-fledged nuclear war. All right? And guess what? America's going to be obliterated, and also England as well. All right, and guess what? England don't have that much soldiers to fight Russia.
Yeah, they don't.
So
But that's why they want to join forces with America.
That's why they want to join forces with America.
That proves they're weak.
Yep, they're weak. And guess what? The American soldiers, they ain't all the way there either. So they
Get
gonna
out of
lose this
there.
war. But guess what? When this war erupts, no one's gonna win this war.
Botox, man,
Everybody's
Botox.
gonna lose gigantically. Okay? Go on.
This is a joke or something.
Joel chapter 3.
Yeah, start from let me see that.
Start from 1.
Right.
I hate when they do that.
What you could do is, yeah, you know where it says
They're the kind of women. I know they look nice, but I want to burn them women.
Joel,
I'm gonna go back to the topic. I'm gonna
They think they're too damn
Joel
nice.
chapter 3, verse 2. I will also gather all nations,
Right.
and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat.
Right, so the Lord said he would gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. Right? Now the valley of Jehoshaphat, when you look at the term Jehoshaphat, it means Yahweh Shaphat. Okay? It's a compound word. So in other words, Shaphat means to plead or to punish or to judge. And that's what the Lord is going to do. The Lord is going to bring these nations together, okay, or go against each other, excuse me, set allies, okay, put certain allies in right there and the other set of allies over there, and they're going to clash together. All right? Go on.
And will plead with them for my people.
Right, and I will plead for them for my people. And that's why you have this nuclear war occurring. If you want to know why is it that we're going to a nuclear war? It's because of this scripture right here. This is God's word, man.
Nice,
Go on.
brother. Ooh.
And will plead them for my people
Yeah.
and for my heritage Israel,
Yep.
whom they have scattered among the nations.
Right, because when you understand all of these other nations, they took part in our downfall. They took part in the transatlantic slave trade. I'm not saying all of them did, but all of them kind of benefited of that too.
Yeah.
Okay, through also the previous captivities as well. So you had the Assyrians, because we have to go back. What is it, man? Around the 8th century BC. When what happened was the Assyrians now, which is Northern Kingdom, they was enslaved under the Assyrians, and then they had to run outside of Assyria, okay, into another man's land, which that's the Americas today. So they were there for time, and then we understand about the Southern Kingdom, and we fast forward into the 1600s or AD, should I say? You had the transatlantic slave trade, okay. You had the ones of our people that went on the east side, not just the west side, but the east side. So the reason why this nuclear war is breaking out because these other nations departed, or should I say, scattered our people, okay, and did wrong unto our people too. Go on.
That's right. For my people and for my heritage Israel,
Yep.
whom they have scattered among the nations,
Yep.
and parted my land.
And parted the land. So they're in the land and they're parting the land. You have all of these different quarters. Okay, you got the Gaza Strip, like the brother said, and that's why the Russians, among the so-called Europeans, the Edomites, amongst them, what they're going to do is they're going to clash, they're going to butt heads. America's going to butt heads with Russia, nuclear, okay, or nuclear-wise, and they're going to destroy themselves. So in other words, they're fighting our fight. You know what I'm saying? They're going to blow themselves up, and we're going to come into the power center. That's what's going to go down. All right, so I think we're done with that, right?
Yeah, just one more verse to say.
Okay, read that, and then you're going to read, I told you to read it. You're going.
Verse 3, and they have cast lots for my people,
Yeah.
and given a boy for a harlot.
Right, and that's what they did during the transatlantic slave trade. Because what they did was they actually what's the word? What they used to do in West Africa, they used to actually sell wine or loose wine, watered down wine, should I say, right? To the to the Africans, and then they would give them to slaves. Okay, and they would also sell them for weapons, I believe.
Yeah.
Right, weapons.
Yeah,
So that's a fulfillment of prophecy. You understand? So everything is going to happen due to all these things that was done in the 17th century to our people. Go on.
And they have cast lots for my people, given a boy for a harlot,
Yeah.
sold a girl for wine that they might drink.
That's exactly what
That's
they did.
it, brother.
Yep.
Right? Yea, what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon?
That's the Hamitic nations. That's those other dark races of people, which was also had a part in enslaving our people too. Okay, because you got two types of people in West Africa. You don't just have one group of people. You have the Hamites, which are in North Nigeria, right?
Yeah. What they're all about. Like, you've got the houses.
The houses, yeah.
There's a distinct difference between
Yeah.
the northerners. That's what they call them, the northerners.
Yeah.
Like people in Lagos, they call them the houses. They call them the northerners.
Yeah.
Because they're very, very dark. They're very dark.
Yeah.
You can clearly see. Because I saw the differentiation between the Igbos and the houses.
Yeah.
And the Igbos don't like the houses.
Yeah. That's it. So I mean, you're going.
Sorry. It's like it. And the British, when they left in the colonial period, they gave all the power to the houses.
Yep.
That's another sign that they're Africans.
Yep. That they're the actual Hamitic people.
Yep.
Because the thing, because it tells you in Psalms, what is it, 82,
83, I think so.
83, where it speaks about how all of the other nations' name is against our people. Okay, so there you have it. So you got.
Finish that actually.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, actually, let me finish it. And all the coast of Palestine, will ye render me a recompense?
Yeah.
And if ye recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head?
Right. So the Lord is going to return recompense upon their own head because of what they did. Okay, and that's why you have this nuclear war happening. Now we're going to read what I told you. Yeah. I think it's in Revelations 7, right? No, 16. I think we'll start from verse 9. Start from verse 9.
Revelation 16 verse 9.
You ain't read it in long time, haven't you?
And men were scorched with great heat and blasphemed the name of the Most High,
Right.
which had power over these plagues.
Right, which have power over these plagues. Because ultimately the Lord. There's some water, brother. Water, yeah? Oh. Yeah, go on.
And they repented not to give him glory.
Right, they repented not to give him glory. Because the one who's going to bring the war or the plagues or the mass devastation, it's the Lord. The Lord is going to bring that. Okay? Now when you read, I'll tell you what. You get me, you know, 2nd Ezra 15. It speaks about the plagues. Because the Lord is the one that's going to sanction all of these things to happen. Everything is going to happen because the Lord wanted it to happen. It was willed by the Father. Now this war that's being erupted, it's not being willed by man, it's being willed by the Father. Why? Because the Lord has to fulfill his word. Okay, it tells you in Numbers 23 and 19, it says, God is not a man that he should lie or to repent of his words.
Wow.
So he's confirming his word pursuant to Daniel's, also the 9th chapter in the 14th verse. Go on.
2nd Ezra 15, what verse?
I think it's 15.
Verse 15.
Actually, stop from 12.
Verse 12. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten.
Now we gotta get some understanding there. Now is this talking about ancient Egypt? No. What we gotta do is read, you don't have to get it. Get Revelations 11, right? And I think it's verse 8, where it speaks about this land was likened unto Sodom and Egypt.
Hey.
So that land is America, okay? Because what happened in ancient Egypt, the Israelites were in slavery, okay? And also what happened in Sodom and Gomorrah. You had men doing that which was unseemly. All right, go on.
So it says, Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten.
Right, so America's gonna be smitten with great destruction. Go on.
With the plague and punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it.
Right, so that's showing you right there that the Most High is going to bring these plagues. What are the plagues? Famine, sword, death, and destruction. Okay? And the Lord is going to intensify that in these days and times, man. There's going to be a mass death coming out. All right? Go on.
They that till the ground shall mourn, for their seed shall fail through the blasting and hail, and with fearful constellation.
You're going.
woe to the world and them that dwell therein.
Right, and that's talking about the time that we're living in right now. It says woe to the world. The word woe means destruction, great destruction. All right, like when you read what is it, Revelations 18 and 11, I believe, where it speaks about how it says at last, for that day is great.
Yeah.
When you look up that word at last, because I did look it up, right? Because the apostle said this, and I looked it up, and it says the same thing. It means destruction. Okay, so great destruction is coming in the land of America, man, and also down here in Britain due to the nuclear annihilation. Go on.
They're saying for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh.
Right, and their destruction draweth nigh. So we're near the destruction. We're actually at the doorsteps of the major mass death. Okay, the demising of all people and the deliverance of the elect. Those who believe in the Most High. Okay, they're going to be saved out of this hour. Go on.
And it said, and one people shall stand up to fight against another.
Right.
And swords in their hands.
You're going to have riots. You're going to have people rise up against one another. You're going to have race wars. Okay, you're going to have all sorts, class wars, religion wars. Okay, like you had the guy, Tony Robinson, he went down to, what's the name? Where did he go? He went down to, oh man, I should know this spot, man. But he went to the park where the Muslims, you know, they had the little debates and Speaker's Corner. He went down there. And he was trying to stir up some strife, man, amongst those Muslims. Okay, but it's going to get down to the point where, you know, these six-pack drinking Edomites, they're going to go against the Muslims, and the Muslims are going to get stumped. And it's just going to be war out here, man. Just like in America. In America, you have this tension going on between so-called black people and so-called white people. And those tensions are going to intensify, and they're going to clash together.
That's it. For there shall be sedition among men.
Right, the word sedition means an uprising against the government. Go on.
And invading one another.
Right, invading one another. Go on.
They shall not regard their kings nor princes. And the course of their actions shall stand in their
power. In other words, what that goes into is that the Queen of England is not going to be regarded. The masses of the people are going to rise up against Prince Charles, the Queen of England, and what happened. Because people are going to get so sick and tired of the madness that's going down that they're going to rise up against their government. That's what that goes into, and that's going to happen. And I can clearly see that's going to happen. Because you have a large amount of people waking up to the corruption of their own government.
Right.
Okay? So it's clear, man. Okay? So we're going to go back to, Revelation 16 now. Let's see, before this nuclear war happens, you're going to have mass You're going to have mass civil disobedience happening. And then the RFID microchip is going to come in the midst of that too. Okay, which is the mark of the beast. Go on.
The men were scorched with great heat and blasphemed the name of the Most High.
What's up?
Excuse me. And men were scorched with great heat and blasphemed the name of the Most High, which had power over these plagues.
Right.
And they repented not to give him glory.
Right, and they repented not to give him glory. So you still going to have some people on the earth that's still going to pretty much, say ill words against the Heavenly Father. All right, go on.
And the fifth angel poured out his veil upon the seat of the beast.
Yeah.
And his kingdom was full of darkness.
Right, and his kingdom was full of darkness. Go on.
And they gnawed their tongues for pain.
Go on.
And blasphemed the Most High of heaven.
So what verse is that?
11.
Okay, go on.
And blasphemed the power of heaven because of their pains and their sores, and repented not of their deeds.
Okay, go on.
And the sixth angel poured out his veil upon the great river Euphrates.
Right, and see, we gotta stop there now. Now this is the point, because where's the Gulf? Where's the Euphrates River at? It's surrounded in Syria. It's surrounded in Turkey, and it's also in Iran. And Iraq. Thank you, my man. So, what you have going on is the tension of war, and this is what we've been talking about for years. What we've been saying for years is that, which is what I'm about to say now. That's why there's war between the Iranians and the Israelis. Okay, because see what happened was the Israelis, they strike Syria. So now what you have happening is you have the British, they're now jumping on board, and America's jumping on board, and the French have jumped on board, all right, because they have to protect their ally, which is the Israelis. Okay, but when you pinpoint what's going on, those angels that are down there in the great rivers Euphrates, they're in control of the war that's getting ready to brew up. And that's why Syria is in the headlines right now. Why? Because the angels of war right there stirred up this war. Bible prophecy. Read that verse again.
See, the fifth angel.
And the Bible prophesied that the Euphrates River would be dried up. And guess what? That area is dried up. Okay, go on.
Verse 12, and the sixth angel poured out his veil upon the great river Euphrates,
Right.
and the water thereof was dried up.
And the water there was dried up. That water, I don't know how long that water's been dried up for, but it's been dried up for several amount of years now. So this is all Bible prophecy. This is the word of God,
me, sir.
the one and only.
Hello,
word of God.
hello, hello.
He didn't be
All
talking
right.
about. This is the only word of God right here. This is what we read. So in the last days, the prophets will rise up and bring out this word and prophesy about the upcoming calamities. All right, now let's look at the term prophet. The word prophet means to say before. And we've been saying this for years. We've been saying that America is going to be destroyed, this and that and the third. World War III is going to happen, this and that and the third. We haven't just rose up out of the midst of nowhere as a current. We've been doing this for years, man. Okay, when you type in our videos around the world, you're gonna see videos, oh, that was done 10 years ago.
Right.
All right, and then prior before YouTube even came in, we had our apostles, they was teaching this around in the 70s, the 80s. The same thing that we're teaching now. We haven't changed anything really. We may have changed a couple of things, but we've been teaching the same thing for going on almost 40 years now, man. All right, and everything that we've been bringing about is now happening in this existence as this very day. In these days and times. Go on.
And the water thereof was dried up, and the way of the kings of the east might be prepared.
Right, the kings of the east might be prepared. What's the kings of the east? Turkey, right, Iran, Turkey, and Syria, where the Euphrates River is at. So the Lord said that this was going to be done, and it shall be done, and that's what's happening. Now, like I said, when you actually research the Euphrates River, it's been dried up. It's dry now. It used to be a river, now it's dried up now. Why? So that the kings of the east might be prepared.
Right.
Okay, and this is why down in that region where Turkey's at, if you notice, Russia supplied new S-400 weapons down there in Turkey, and also Syria as well. Back in 2014, the Russians been supplying them with S-400s and what have you. All right, and Iran as well. Okay, so everything's correlating with prophecy, man. Go on. There's no free will, none of that bogus. Go on.
So it said, and I saw three unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet.
Right, because you have now this goes into something else. Now the three unclean frogs that came out of the mouth of the beast, those represents the 3 city states. Now you have the religious sect of the society, which you can go to Vatican for that. Okay, the Vatican Rome, and then you also have the military sect, which I believe is in Washington D.C., America. Okay, and then there's another sect. Oh man, there's another sect of it too. Okay, you have the Vatican City, which is the religious aspect of the society. Okay, then you also have, matter of fact, read that again so I can get back to my tree.
And I saw three unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet.
Right, and and then you also have the financial market. Now the financial market is in England. Okay, so all of the attributes that this society deals with, or the people of this society deal with, they would be within that they would be working within that those three unclean frogs. So like I said, you have the false prophet, which is the Roman Catholic Church. You have the financial district, which is in England. Okay, and then also America is a part of that too. All right, so go on.
It said, for they are the spirits of devils, working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world, to gather them to the battle of that great day.
Right, to gather them to the battle of that great day. Okay, what is that great day? We just read it in Joel, the Valley of Jehoshaphat. Okay, where the Lord is going to plead there for his own people in Israel. Okay, that are in Israel, which we are the Israelites. All right. So, what we're going to do here, I think we're done with that. So I'm going to read this article here. Right, it says, this is from the RT, it says UN Security Council meets over us, or selected US strikes on Syria. All right, it says US-led strikes in Syria without UN security mandates a violation of international law. So it says the US and its allies struck civil and military facilities in Syria, violating the UN Charter and international law. Russian President Vladimir Putin said, responding to the American-French-British intervention in Syria, Washington launched an aggression against a sovereign state, which is at the forefront of the fight against terrorism. All right, so what they did is they acted unilaterally. They said, you know what, we're going to strike Syria under this lie that Syria has weapons of chemical weapons. All right, and they're using that lie just so they can lead in, so they can further destroy, Bashar al-Assad and his regime. Okay, but not understanding, because see, they think that they can just infiltrate Syria and start and pretty much rule over them and set up their new world order, not understanding everything that they're doing is plugged into prophecy. All right, so it says an international law, Russian President Vladimir Putin said, responding to the American, French, British intervention in Syria, Washington launched an aggression against a sovereign state, which is at the forefront of the fight against terrorism. The statement from the president said, Putin stressed the multinational strikes were not sanctioned by the UN Security Council and were carried out in violation of the UN Charter and principles of international law. So if you're going to do something, you got to go before the UN. Okay, you got to speak about what you're going to do before the UN. All right, no pictures. Okay, but they didn't do that. They acted by themselves. They acted unilaterally, and they went down to go strike Syria. The French, the British, and the US. Now what you're going to start happening is the Russians are going to respond to that now. China's going to respond to that now.
Right.
All right? And this thing's going to go berserk. Okay, so you might be walking down the street, or you may be partying with your mates or whatever, and all of a sudden, there's a cyber attack that occurs.
Yes.
And then there's a real deal, a nuclear device. Okay, because this is something that each one, right, stir the pot. And that's something that the banking elite want. They want to destroy people. All right, they want to kill as much people as possible.
Yes.
And the engine for that is that war. When you check out the Georgia Guidestones, what did the Georgia Guidestones say? To maintain humanity under 500 million.
Hey.
So the only way you can deplete 8-point-something billion people on the face of the earth is by nuclear war. They tried it with the chemtrails, they tried it with other diseases, and it didn't work. So what's the next solution? Nuclear war. All right, but not understanding everything is juiced into prophecy. You understand? Go on. You gotta keep the switches rolling, bro. That ain't it, man. You gotta keep going. You understand? So I mean, everything's correlated with prophecy. If we are, okay, what you gonna say, man?
There was a war against Iran and Iraq.
Yep.
And President Saddam, who was the president of Iraq, fought a 5-year war on behalf of the West against the Iranians.
Yep.
Saddam then invaded Kuwait, and then it was Gulf War I, wasn't there?
Yeah, it's World War I, yeah.
And then Saddam didn't have anything. He had all his acquisitions. He got boycotted, and he didn't have anything. And then there was Gulf War II.
Right, World War II.
And they said that Saddam